Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make my version of the classic tiramisu. It's super light, fluffy, and it doesn't contain any added sugar. Because tiramisu is made with raw eggs, I prefer to be on the safe side here and pasteurize them before. Simply put the eggs in water, heat it until you reach 60 degrees Celsius and then keep them at this temperature for 3.5 minutes. Then take them out and put them into cold water. After 5 minutes in the cold water, use a kitchen towel to wipe them dry. And then what I like to do is separate them the old-fashioned way. Regardless of how you like to do it, the whole point is to get the yolks into a bowl and the whites into another. And as you can see, the consistency of the eggs hasn't changed at all. They look like perfectly raw eggs. The trick to this is to maintain that temperature at a constant 60, maximum 61 degrees Celsius. When I make my classic tiramisu, I always like to start with the whites, and that's because the whisks are clean. After frothing them up for a minute or so, add 20 grams of erythritol. Keep mixing on high speed for another minute. When the whites start to become shiny, add another 20 grams of erythritol and continue beating on high speed. And you know the whites are done when they're super fluffy, stiff and shiny, and when you tilt the bowl, they stay in place. And my personal take on the classic tiramisu is a vanilla pod. I really love vanilla, so I can't help it. You can skip it if you don't want it. But if you use it, make sure you use one of excellent quality. And I'm gonna link to the one I prefer in the description below. And here I'm using a beautiful Tahitian vanilla pod because of its delicate floral notes. After scraping out the seeds, you can put the pods into your favorite spirit drink. Just let it macerate for at least 2 months to enjoy its full aroma. Now start mixing the yolks with the vanilla seeds on low speed for a minute or so. Add the remaining 20 grams of erythritol and increase the speed of the mixer. Keep mixing like this for 3 to 4 minutes until the yolks will have more than doubled in volume, turned a very pale yellow, and hold the ribbon. Now add 300 grams of mascarpone at room temperature to the yolks. At first, I start mixing without turning the mixer on. Then start the mixer, first on a lower speed and then increase it, and continue mixing for a minute or two until you have a perfectly homogeneous and very fluffy cream. Give the cream a few folds with a silicone spatula just to make sure that all the mascarpone has been properly incorporated, and this is the texture it should have. Now add about 1/3 of the whipped whites and start folding them in. Always lift from the bottom of the bowl like you draw the letter J. And when the mixture is homogeneous, you can add the remaining whites. Proceed the same way, drawing the letter J until you have a homogeneous cream. Set the bowl aside for now and line your 18 cm cake ring with acetate sheet. To make sure the acetate stays in shape, I'm gluing the ends together with a drop of water. And here I have 350 milliliters of vanilla-infused coffee at room temperature. For this classic tiramisu recipe, I'm using store-bought ladyfingers, and this is why this cake isn't entirely sugar-free, but you can make your own if you want to. Simply dip them shortly into the coffee and arrange them into an even layer in your cake ring. My advice here is that you keep the coffee bath very short or they'll end up being too soggy. Cut the larger one into fitting pieces, and until I do that, I'd really appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really makes a huge difference to me. Thank you. Now when the base is done, you can add half of the fluffy cream. Just dollop the cream onto the coffee-soaked Savoiardi biscuit and spread it with your spatula into an even layer. And now it's time to repeat the same process, so back to the coffee bath and arranging the ladyfingers into an even layer. And then you can add all of the remaining cream. Use your silicone spatula to spread it into an even layer. Finish off with a small offset spatula to level the surface, and then refrigerate the classic tiramisu for 6 to 8 hours. And after the time has passed, it's time to unlatch the ring. And hope that our cake stays in place. Remember, there's no stabilizing agents except for the eggs. Then peel away the acetate and voila! There it is in one piece. Now it's possible that it'll leak a few drops of coffee, and that's perfectly fine. It's a classic tiramisu. Half of it is soaked in coffee. I like to smoothen the edges just a bit, but that's entirely optional. And to finish, give your classic tiramisu a good dusting of cocoa powder. I like to do this just before serving, because I don't want the cocoa to absorb any moisture and become pasty and change its color. Slicing this cake feels like cutting through air. That's how light it is. I wouldn't recommend eating this dessert after 5 p.m. unless you used decaf coffee, of course. Chances are it'll keep you up at night. My interpretation of the classic tiramisu is delicious and light as air. But don't take my word for it. Make your own. You've seen how easy it is. Let me know in the comments below how it turns out for you. Until next time, dessert lovers.